Hello everybody, Dr. Marshall here, and today I just want to spend a few minutes with you and provide you with a video that describes what we call AUGS and PLOAMS, Administrative Unit Goals and Program Learning Outcomes and Related Measures. Now, many of you have asked the question, what are these things? And I appreciate that, and instead of trying to get with you individually, I thought it might be better to just go ahead and provide a short video to tell you what these things are and how important they are and who does what and how to do them. So really what we're looking at here, administrative unit goals and program learning outcomes, are the goals that you set forth at the beginning of each year. Whatever goals you want to set out for your department, you put this down in the form, and I'm going to show you the form here in just a minute. And at the beginning of the school year, you set the goals, and then in the spring, after we do the forums and the surveys, you can go back and see what you've done and whether or not you've met your goals. Some of you may use forums and surveys, some of you may not. It just depends on your department. Now, these reports are very important. First of all, it indicates to the school whether or not you are in line with your strategies. And if your strategies are, first of all, successful, and whether or not these strategies are in line with our overall mission. So from an institutional standpoint, these reports help us look at what you're doing, what you plan on doing, and for planning and reporting, that's important. Also, SACS, the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools, need to know that we are setting goals for the institution and that we are following proper protocol in being able to meet these goals and overall mission. So this is an important aspect of our school in being able to determine where we're at and where we're going, and it's also for a reporting standpoint important also. Now, you may be wondering, well, who's responsible for all of this? Well, as you see here, I have a list of directors and deans, and these are the ones who I have identified so far as being over these departments, and as such, you do the reports. Now, this is going off of an old report or list, so if you see anything here that just doesn't match up, please, by all means, let me know. Give me a call and I can change that. But for the most part, these are the departments that normally, typically fill these out. And as you see here, I've included Varner as well. So Dr. Thompson, Mark Thompson, will be doing one as well. And some of you, as I see here, are new. So we'll go through here the basics of filling them out, but these are the ones who will normally fill out these reports. Now, what is a AUG? An AUG, as we said, is an administrative unit goal, and it's comprised of 5 columns. You have the purpose and goal statement first, which is fairly standard. You have the mission statement, and then you have the goal statement. The mission statement won't change. You have to put the mission of Mid-America. Now, each department will have its own goal statement, what you plan to do to make this mission happen. Now, what I did was go back to an old one, 2015-16, and I used the institutional assessment unit goal. So you have the first column here, then you have the second column, which is the expected outcome. What is it that you want to do? What are your expectations for your department? Well, here's where you list those in this second column. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to end with one page. There are some that have multiple pages. You have a lot of goals set out, so whatever your goals are, you need to plan those out before the beginning of the year and be able to write them out here in column 2. Now, column 3 is the assessment criteria. How are you going to measure your expected outcomes? And here's where you would put it. For instance, one would be, for the expected outcome, we'll conduct annual faculty, staff, student forums, and surveys, including a survey about the QEP topic. And the assessment criteria for number 1, production of a faculty, staff, and student forum and survey analysis packet. So you would go off of surveys and forums to be able to determine what your expected outcome would be, whether or not you reached it. Now, these 3, and we'll talk about this a little bit more later on, but these 3 columns are done in the fall. All of this should be done at the beginning of the year. Now, the last 2 will be completed after the forums and surveys are completed in the spring, around April or May time frame. Campus Life will conduct this, and when they have the results, you will get the results and see whether or not you are in line, or if you've reached your goal, exceeded your goal, didn't make your goal, or whatever. The results are written here for each area that you're looking at. So you have monthly meetings, write and turn in QEPs, attendance plan. For every expected outcome, you should have an assessment criteria. And for every assessment criteria, you should have an assessment result. Now, the 5th column will be done also after you've done the assessment, and that's also completed in the spring. What do you plan on doing with this result? What kind of planning will you do for next year? How will you take these results and improve upon, modify, alter, whatever? All of that will go into column 5. So the first 3 here will be done in the fall at the beginning of the year. The last 2 columns will be done in the spring once you get the surveys and forum results. Now, for the academic side, here is the program learning outcomes, and as you see, same purpose and goals as the mission statement. And for this department, which is Christian education, you have the goal statement of Christian education here, and it's the Master of Arts. We need one for every program. If you do an associate's program, bachelor's program, master's, each department and each level of degree and discipline needs to be represented. And the student learning outcomes. There were, on this slide, we see 4 of them. So we should, and even with these, there can be sub criteria. For paragraph 1, or for the first learning outcome, we have the student demonstrates a good to excellent command of the Christian faith regarding the Old and New Testament for effective Christian education ministry. Now notice here, we have 1A and 1B. So this department wants to use 2 criteria to be able to determine whether or not they are meeting this goal. And you see here 2 just has 1 assessment criteria. 3 is using 2. And we see here that the student demonstrates a good to excellent knowledge of the historical and theological foundations of Christian and Baptist beginnings. So whatever you want to do, that's your department. You make the call. But you need to articulate it at the beginning of the year, what you want to accomplish and how you're going to measure all of this. And then, again, when it comes springtime and the grades are in and the forms are in and the surveys are in, all of that, then you can fill out the last two columns. Now, important timelines, this is just to reiterate, so if you want to fall back on this this video, you can. The fall semester, you fill out the first three columns. These are your goals and what you want to do for that current year. The spring semester, you'll complete the last two columns after you've received all the data that you need to be able to determine how well you did, or if you met your goals or not. And then I'll collect all of those and I'll be able to report to SACS what we're doing, and we can stay within their requirements, and we'll also know how we're doing. Now, the challenge that we have for this year, as you know, we were out in April and May, so we did not do the student forums and the surveys and the forums, so we were not able to collect that data. However, you should have already completed for your department the first three columns from the fall semester of 19, which was this past fall semester. Now, the last two columns, all we're going to be able to do is put, due to COVID-19, we were unable to gather data, and that should suffice. Now, that's only for departments that use surveys and forums. If you do not rely on those portions of data, if you don't rely on surveys and forums and you rely on other data, then you can go ahead and complete all 5 columns. So this is kind of a rundown on it. Again, we've had a lot of turnover. We have new people, so this is kind of new to a lot of people, even me. I've only been here a year, so we're all learning as we go. But for those of you who are not used to doing this, and for those who are, go ahead and start thinking about what it is you want to accomplish. Now, if you do not have the last year's administrative or program learning outcome data or form, then let me know, and I'll try to see if we have one for your department so you can see what historically you've done for the past year up until this current year. And any way I can help you, like I said, I have previous forms. If you need a copy of one to use maybe as a template, don't hesitate to email me, call me, and I'll get you one. But these need to be done every year. We need to get in the habit of doing these and being consistent with them. And we've done a good job from what I've seen, but we, again, have new people, and we need to just make sure that if you're new and not sure, we get you the information you need and the resources you need. And folks, that's it as far as AUGS and PLOAMS. So when you see me email requesting these things, hopefully this time a lot of people will know what I'm talking about. But again, if there's any questions, please call me. God bless. Thanks a lot.